prohibiting journalists who are working with Mariah FM to attend any function in South Sudan. But nevertheless, they are coming in a way or the other, or some of you are supplying them with the information. This is what is happening. Some of you are collaborating with them and they are supplying them with information. That Mariah FM was established for dissemination of peace, but it is now becoming, it is disseminating hate speech, dividing people, and so forth. These are some of the problems that we are facing. And then people keep on writing that there is a real violation. There is a real violation of human rights. And our own laws are being violated. So that is the situation anyway. We have no problem. We will know how to address that situation. For internet transparency. By the way, internet, when it was established, when it was established by those people, it was meant for business. It was meant for real business. To ease the business, to ease businesses. But nowadays it is being abused and misused. All this rubbish which are thrown into the media, into the internet, are they of any use to us? People are seriously abusing the internet and so forth. Because that was not the objective. But it is becoming a different thing altogether. People have started to use them in order to serve their own whims. Because if I'm sitting with you, you will not be in a position to face me and tell me anything. So what do? You go and sit in your house, write all this nonsense and send them to me. Because you will not be in a position to face me. This is what is happening now. People are allowing children to use the internet, the internet. Why allow your children to do that? Those who are underage especially. You are spoiling them. If you want to educate them, educate them. You want to train them on how to use them, train them the right way. There are a lot of obscene movies that are there in the internet that are actually destructive to our social fabric. But you are encouraging them. The internet is encouraging them. It is your duty as journalists to tell the people how to use it, how best they can make use of the internet. And instead of you talking about freedom of expression in the internet, tell them how best they can benefit from the internet, not to abuse it. If you have trained them, if you have talked to them as to how best they can use this internet, this will benefit everybody. And there will be no problems. There are people who are using it for hate speech. There are people who are using it for divisive articles, and so forth and so forth. Is this what it was meant for? don't think so. So, and up to now, we have not taken any action against anybody who put on whatever nonsense he had in mind in that, in the social media, in the internet. So, my advice is that you must take care of all these so that we avoid any inconveniences. Safety of female journalists. In fact, it is not the safety of female journalists only, but even the male journalists. It is the way you conduct yourself that determines everything. A female journalist who wants to interview Mr. X or Y must be conscious and know that she is a female, and that man may be having other issues in mind. So when you just go in and say you are interviewing Mr. X and you sit in a room alone with him, how do we protect you now? And then you begin to say, protect the female journalists. How do we protect them? It is the way you behave, it is the way you conduct yourself that protects you. So, if that is the female aspect of the journalist. For males who are conducting interviews, they must also be very careful and make sure that they ask the right questions. Because in journalism, you don't need to go into my own private life. My own private life. If you tamper with it, then you are in crisis. Unless it has something to do with the public interest. But if it is somebody's private life, you don't need to interfere with that. Keep away from it. Women journalists are very few in South Sudan because of our customs. That has been very clear. Our customs and traditions are not giving our females, are not giving them their full rights. And as such, it becomes difficult for a female journalist to travel all over South Sudan, just alone, like a man. Otherwise, they will be creating a lot of stories about her. This is the thing. So it is our duty first to educate our community, enlighten them about the importance of journalism and about the importance of participation of female journalists. It is in so doing that we will be in a position to correct that situation. There are some conservative families that are not even allowing when their daughter says that she wants to study journalism, they will just say no. Because they don't want their daughter to be all the time like these young ladies here, standing and taking photos and doing so. They don't want it that way. This is a conservative society that needs to be yet improved. So the issue of female journalists, and so far up to now, I have not come across a case of a female journalist, except that female journalist who was arrested covering a demonstration without an ID card. And and for your information, if you are a journalist, make sure that you move throughout with your card. Don't just leave it behind and somebody will, and you will say, hey, he knows me, I'm a journalist. That is not enough. There must be an identity that tells us that you are a journalist. If you leave it behind and you fall into crisis, you will be treated like any other person. And this is what happened with that lady who was arrested. Not that only, but she is not even a registered journalist. And you claim her to be a journalist. And you talked a lot about her arrest. Why should she not be arrested as long as there is nothing that shows that she is registered? Her name was checked in the list of the registered journalists. It's not there. She did not have any identity card. She is an employee of a certain embassy. Yes, you are an employee of that certain embassy, but come and register. And if you are not registered, even if you are not registered and you are an employee of that embassy, you don't have diplomatic immunity, you will still be arrested if you don't have the diplomatic immunity. And nationals who are employees of embassies have no diplomatic immunities because they are not nationals of those embassies, of the embassies of those countries. They are employees, but they continue to be South Sudanese. Not that only, but anybody with dual nationality, this is another problem that is facing us. Anybody with dual nationality, a South Sudanese and a national somewhere else, when he comes to South Sudan here and he commits an offense here, he will be treated as South Sudanese. I'm seeing some of the embassies trying to intervene all the time, saying that they are their nationals. That is absolutely wrong and should be understood from today. That it is not the right of that country to claim that our national, who decided to be naturalized over there, is protected in his own country by that country. Meanwhile, he is in the country of origin. This is absolutely wrong and should be clearly understood. That if you have a dual nationality, when you arrive to South Sudan, you are a South Sudanese and all the laws of South Sudan apply on you. This must be very clear also. Because among you are also those with dual nationality. And when you fall into crisis, you claim to be a country, or you claim that country of naturalization, and this is your country of origin. These are some of the issues that we need to know and avoid. Freedom of expression, I've already talked about it. Defamation, I've already talked about it. Extension of the media authority to the states. Yes, it is our duty to make sure that we extend all the services to the states. We are in the process of establishing public radios in all the states and administrative areas. There are some states which already have their public radios, and some with community radios, and we are trying to establish the rest so that everybody is informed in its state. We are also trying to strengthen our national radio and TV so that we can be heard all over South Sudan, so that the people of South Sudan can actually know what is happening in their country. This is what we are doing. When we are optimistic that our radio house, which is actually a Chinese gift to the people of South Sudan. It may be inaugurated soon and it will be on air. So that is, we are also building the radio house for South Sudan Radio. It will also be operational soon. So we are trying our level best to build the capacity of the government employees as well as private practitioners. And this is why whenever we receive any courses, we receive any requests, any scholarships or courses, we all the time engage you, the journalists. We take from the public, from private as well as public journalists, and we send them for courses. This has been happening and will continue to do it up to the time when we establish our own institute. But as of now, we are trying our level best and we'll all continue with that. As for protocol for journalists, well, this we have not much to do with it. It is the duty of the UN Security Council or the UN Security. If they come up with the protocol for journalists later, then we will see what is it. And then all the laws will be adjusted to conform with that protocol. But as long as it is not there, we are continuing to operate in accordance with the provisions of our laws. So we have no problem on that. The SSBBC official who was dismissed. And this is what people talk about, that there is no justice, there is no freedom of expression. There is no freedom of expression for government employees. A government journalist, a public employee journalist is supposed to disseminate the policies of the government because he is an employee of the government. A public institution, being radio or TV, its duty is to disseminate the policies of the government. This must be very clear. So anybody who goes against that ultimately faces the consequences. And this is what happened to this journalist. He was in the office of the vice president. He usually takes the news from the office of the vice president to the office there. He took the news there, leaving behind one of the news. And after being passed it is the Nduru. It is you who pass it. Before you pass it, and thereafter, he followed the news to the newsroom. And he went and smuggled in the other news which did not pass through the official channel. And it was announced. People were shocked. And I received so many calls, and the SSBC received so many calls the same day, same night. When it was investigated, it was found that it was a forgery from this official, and he had to go. This is a system. This is how a government machinery operates. So if you are a freelance journalist, please don't attempt to work with the government. Yes. I must make it very clear. A journalist who is an employee of the government disseminates the policies of the government. A radio, a TV station that is operating in South Sudan disseminates the policies of the government. A private company, a freelance journalist, or a journalist of any other company is free to work within the law. This must be very clear to us. This must be very clear to us, because it seems that we believe that if I'm a journalist, then I'm free to do whatever I want. No. If you are my employee and you are a journalist, you must do what I say. So if you are an employee of the government, you must work in accordance with the government policies. Well, on the issue of the VOA reporter, that was the young lady who was arrested with an ID card. I've already talked about it. Yes, for the salary structure, it is true. For the pays, it is true. The salaries are very low. We are working hard now to come up with a new salary structure. And in that new salary structure, we have put in allowances for our journalists. For those in the radio, for those in the TV, those who work for almost 18 hours. And we shall be soon be going in for 24 hours operation. These people will be given those special considerations, special allowances, so that they continue to operate, so that we give them the necessary incentive, so that they are not taken by the private sector. In fact, we have trained so many people, but they were taken by the private sector because they are better paid in the private sector. This time we will pay them better, so that the private sector raises its bar also. This is what we are planning to do, and this is what we will do. We hope that the new salary structure will be out soon. Lastly, yes, it is our duty to make sure that all journalists work in a free and conducive atmosphere. But also make sure that you conform with the law, so that you make use of this free and conducive atmosphere. Because if you don't conform, then if you are not conforming, then you know that you are in conflict with the law. And by the way, as is stated by the MD, we have never taken any journalist to the court up to now. And this is being taken by some circles to be a weakness of the government, and they all the time try to press on the government to show to do whatever they have in mind. There is no country in this world where freedom of expression is absolute. Even for those who come and preach freedom of press, freedom of speech, no hate speech, no all these things are not even happening in their own countries. Even in their own countries. Go down and study what is happening. You are journalists, you follow up, especially in the internet, you get everything. Go to Google, you get everything. So, it is not all that glitters which is gold. It is not all that glitters which is gold. Don't allow yourselves to be carried away by so many terminologies and modern terminologies which are brought about by people who are not even following them in their own countries. This is my message to you. We are ready to cooperate with you. We'll make sure that we create the necessary conducive atmosphere. But you also on your side, you must help us and avoid falling into conflict with the law. Because if you fall into conflict with the law, we'll prosecute you. We'll take you to the court. And from now onwards, and by the way, the media authority did not take anybody to the court up to now because they have been able to resolve some of these problems there and then. But that time, when a case comes before them and they are unable to resolve it, they will refer it to the court. So there is no way. Some of you will one day go to the court if you continue to be in conflict with the law. Then we will take some of you to the court. If the idea of the media authority all the time resolving issues amicably becomes another weakness, then we will tell him to take any case to the court directly. And then we will see what will happen. In some countries, there are courts especially set up for journalists, media courts. In some countries, there are media courts, specifically for media issues. We have not done that because we don't see any need for that. But we can do it. So, for today, let us say congratulations to all of us, because we are actually abiding by this. And this impunity in our country is no longer there. It's no longer there. It is only when you move against the law that you are arrested. The last journalist arrested was this lady, I'm sure. This lady who went to the street claiming to be a journalist is the only. This is a clear indication that we have no problem and you are conforming. So please continue with that conformity. And the law will be with you all the time. If anything happens, you are there out there to protect you, and the media authority is doing that very well. But don't be in conflict with the law and expect the media authority to protect you. So, for this day is a good day. I will not be in a position to stay with you throughout the day to attend your deliberations, because even if I stay here, some of you will not be talking. This is what I know. So this is why I'm leaving you. I'll give you so that you can freely talk. Whatever decisions you take, they will be brought to me by the media authority, by the MD, and whatever recommendations that you make in order to improve this profession will be out to ensure that they are implemented. If necessity requires that we amend any of the laws, then we will do so. But today I will not be in a position to stay with you because I'm going for other functions, and I wish you every success in your deliberations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister. I sense the room photo, and I come back first.
Okay, do I need really to declare the function open? I think I had already indirectly said it. So with that, with these statements, I declare your workshop open.
Yeah, let's all go out for the group photo, then we come back for breakfast.
Hello, this has been the aid to end impunity and crimes against humanity and against journalists. And the event has just ended, and we're actually with the Minister of Information, who has been here addressing the journalists and the media stakeholders in the country. And the program has just ended with the statements, and now we're going to go to the panel discussions, where we'll discuss issues that are affecting the country and the media practitioners in the country. Actually, that's the Minister of Information talking to the journalists and to the media stakeholders. And we are here to begin the real discussion of the program. Be following us, and we'll be live for the next few minutes and for the next 1 hour. Thank you. My name is Michael Tapeng, and this is Jubaiko live program. Thank you so much.